Anna from Cooking with Plants, and today I'm making fat-free herbed mashed potatoes. Let's get started. First of all, you're going to need some chopped up potatoes. What I like to do is actually chop all my potatoes all in one go. We usually go to the farmers markets on a weekend and we buy a whole batch of potatoes, and I just peel them and chop them all in one go. I put them in a container, cover them with some filtered water so they're all immersed in the water, and then put them in the fridge. Make sure that the container has a lid on it. Put them in the fridge and they will keep for at least 1 week. I've had them in there 2-3 weeks, and you'll see that they don't go brown or discoloured because they're sitting in the water. And it's just a very convenient way to use potatoes during the week. If you don't want to be chopping every night and you feel like some potatoes, they're just ready to go. A nice easy trick. So I'll be putting these into a pot. I'll probably end up using all of these today. Just so nice to have them ready to go. Okay, so I've got all those potatoes in a nice big pot, so you can cook as many potatoes as you like. I'm actually going to use this starchy water that was over the potatoes to begin with. Otherwise, just use fresh filtered water if you have it, or even some boiled water just to speed it up a bit would be fine. And cover up the potatoes so they're all just under the water level. So this is about the right amount. A few of them can be sticking out, but just so they're at the water is at the potato level in your pot. So once the water is in, you can pick any herbs of your choosing, whether they're fresh or dried. You could put in some garlic, even if you wanted to put a couple of pieces of celery just to release a little bit of flavour into that water. And today I'm putting in some dried sage. Just sprinkle it over. And I've also got a very sad looking basil plant here that I don't think is going to last much longer. So I'm just pulling off a few bits of the basil, putting that in. Some marjoram, some dried basil leaves as well, a little bit of white pepper, and I'm also adding in some turmeric powder just to give it a bit more of a yellow colour. Because we won't be using butter, this will give it a bit of a creamy look, bit of a buttery look. And I'm just adding in a tiny bit of Celtic sea salt as well, just a sprinkle of that. Alternatively, if you have some vegetable broth on hand, you could also use that instead of the salt and the water combination in this, and that would work perfectly as well. So I'll just give that a stir through now, and then we'll pop it on the stove to cook for about, I would say about 20 minutes, but it will vary depending on the pot that you're using, how many potatoes you're cooking, the type of potatoes. So you'll just need to keep an eye on it, bring it to a boil, and just leave it on a very high simmer, and then just keep checking them till they start to crumble apart. Okay, I'm going to set this to a high heat without a lid on and bring it to a boil. Okay, so this has been going for about 10 minutes now, and it's just come to the boil, and you'll want to give it a stir through just to mix all those herbs through. And then just turn it down to a high simmer and just check the potatoes with a fork maybe every 5 minutes, and once they're ready we'll go to the next stage. Okay, so these have been simmering for about 10 minutes now, and they're falling apart quite easily, so they're ready to drain off. Okay, so to drain these off, I've got a bowl and a strainer above it. I'm going to collect the liquid that this is cooked in, and then I'll be using some of that to actually make the mash. So depending on how soft or how smooth and whipped you like your mashed potato will depend on how much of the liquid you add back in. And I'm also using a hand immersion blender, so it'll make it nice and smooth and whipped. That's how I like my mashed potato. But if you don't have one, or you want to just use a hand masher, just do it in the way that you would normally do. But instead of milk or butter or anything like that, we're going to have a nice healthy plant-based potato mash. Okay, so I've drained these off. Whoops. I'm just going to pour them back in this pot. If you have cooked with some celery and chunkier things in your mix, or bunches of herbs, make sure you pull them out if you're not using a hand immersion blender, or if you don't want those flavours in the final mash. I've only got a couple of little bits of basil, so I'm going to leave them in because they'll add nice flavour. But if it was bigger bunches of basil, I'd be pulling them out now. I'm going to start mashing these without any added liquid, just to see what the consistency is like, and I'll just keep checking it as I go. As you can see, even without adding any extra liquid, these are quite fluffy already. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of the liquid just to add some of the herb flavour through, not too much. I don't want potato sauce. Add that through. And with this broth that you've got left, please do keep that. You can use it instead of vegetable stock in soups, or if you're making a curry, or anywhere where you would normally use a vegetable broth. Just keep that on hand. You could even freeze it in some ice cube trays and just pop it out whenever you need it. So a nice little thing to have on hand. Okay, so I'm going to give this a bit of a taste test, just to make sure it's got all the flavours that I want and the consistency I want. Looking pretty good. Oh, I think I'll be eating this whole pot full. It's really yummy. It's really creamy, and it's just got those light herb flavours all through it. Yum, 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 yum. I don't even think I'm going to bother with the gravy. I'm just going to start eating this right now. So if you like today's recipe, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Give it a try and send me some photos if you do decide to make it yourself. I'd love to see what you've come up with. And don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.